so I'll be able to see y'all. Oh, let's do it. How are y'all feeling this morning? Happy, thankful Thursday. You know, in the South, we used to call it Thirsty Thursday, not Thirsty Thursday. That's what we used to when you go to the little hole in the wall. Thirsty Thursday. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for the roses, dearest one. I heart you, love you, honey, one. Thank you so much. True Beauty's in the building. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Jay. Hope you're doing well today. Praying for your happiness and joy in Jesus' name, indeed and amen. Blessings received in return, dearest one. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Um, Today is a great day, y'all. Great and amazing things are going to happen for us today. I clicked on your live exactly the right moment when the meditation started. Oh, I'm so happy and so grateful it was helpful, dearest one. Thank you, Elizabeth, again. Thank you so much for the blessings. Um, yeah, y'all know I used to do the meditation in TU, but I decided the Lord told me to go ahead and start doing it over here. And so it's really helpful, y'all, to set your intentions for the day. Thank you, honey, one, for the blessings. I appreciate y'all. Y'all, today's message is gonna be really good. Y'all know yesterday was Shadow Work Wednesday. So we did the work yesterday. So we're thankful for that, right? We are definitely thankful for that. But we're also thankful for we're gonna talk about some things we're gonna be thankful for this morning. Um I'll be ready to get started on it. How are y'all feeling? How's y'all's week going? We'll do our coffee and community real quick before we get started. My hands they ashy. Don't do me. Don't even do me. Don't be no hater. Don't y'all come over here cutting up either, cause they excited, y'all. Spirit and them being a little excited. I feel. Does anybody feel like things are starting to speed up in your life? Or is anyone seeing any increase, any growth? Anybody seeing things start to, like, are you being intentional about making sure you're focused on the positive in your life? Are you staying intentional about being like, even if something goes bad? I told y'all my story yesterday, somebody trying to steal my car, Lord. And so even in that, even in the trials and tribulations, are you still able to find peace and joy, and still just giving God his glory, child, and just being like, you know what, the Lord got to be getting ready to do something good in my life. Okay. I feel like it's a lot of shifting that's happening, especially as we stepped into the fall solstice, right? Pamela is checking in on the YT side of the street. Great morning to Shay and the community. Sandy is in the building on the YT side of the street. Great morning, Touche and community. Today I'm grateful for my children and the relationship we have. Ain't it a blessing? It is a blessing, y'all, to have an amazing relationship with your children, especially if they're adults, right? And so shout out to you. Shout out to your children as well, dearest one. It is definitely a beautiful thing to have a great relationship with your children. I am grateful to have great relationships with my children. I don't talk to my son and my oldest daughter as much. He's in school and he's on the East Coast, right? And so come on, Dawn. We received the Breaking Dawn. What was that? Twilight. I love them movies. Shout out Bella and Edward and Jacob. He was fine too. Y'all remember when he turned into the wolf? Come wolf. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, yes, y'all, we are thankful, we are grateful this morning. We have a good message we finna talk about. Y'all ready? Oh, let's do it. Let's get to it. Like the live, share the love. Drop this in the chat. It's included. It's included. It's included. Okay, it's included. So, as Lord was preparing me for this message this morning, y'all know yesterday we talked about that security deposit, and I had got a whole nother message, and I don't know if the Lord want me to make it another message, but I'ma just told y'all because y'all know. I feel like that's a whole nother message though, especially this one. What y'all think? Y'all think well, because we did the security deposit yesterday, we just gonna include it in here. Okay, I got something else for, okay, I'm gonna just say this. Now we calling this it's included, right? Good morning, Cherie. Good morning. It's included. So this why we got so many things to be thankful for and grateful for. Good morning, Ms. I made it. Good morning, y'all. It's included, man. The Lord was talking to me today about territory. So what he did was he put something on the calendar, and he was talking about, and the way he said it was, it comes with the territory. And then so when I had to title it, I was like, okay, yeah, it's included. So we are actually scripture this morning that we're going to be talking about is none other. I don't need the Bible for this. You can go to First Chronicles 4 and 10. First Chronicles 4 and 10. Okay, if you know, you know where we going with territory. Okay, if you know, you know. Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm so that I will be free from pain. Okay. So I was like, okay, Lord. So when he started talking about territory, and I've told y'all that he said this to me before, but I'm going to explain it again how he was telling me. Because at first I thought we were going to be talking about how believing your truth, because remember yesterday we talked a lot about, did a lot of shadow work about, like, your truth is not, people are not going to agree with your truth, and so therefore you're going to have some people coming up against you. So I thought we were going to be talking about Matthew 10 and 21, but he said no. We don't want to talk about that because we left that in yesterday. The problem, so the way the Lord was showing it to me this morning, he said we're going to talk about the territory because you understand that the Lord is growing in you, right? Do you realize that you are the territory? Can we drop that in the chat? I am the territory. I'm God's territory. And so as the Lord, whenever he talks to me about the prayer of Jabez, he always talks to me about how I am his territory. I am. So if when God is enlarging, the first thing that he does is he enlarges within you. Does that make sense? Because I am God's territory. So the first thing before you see the growth and the expansion, we be praying for it, right? We be praying for the enlargement. We be praying for it to happen external to us, but God has to grow and enlarge within us first before we see it in the external. Okay, I am the territory. I am God's territory. So the more that God grows within you, the more you start to see how the growth and expansion becomes like a normal part of your life, right? That's what the Lord was telling me. Hold on, y'all. I need my glasses. I don't know what's going on today, but I'm gonna put my glasses on because what? Because I need to. Um, how? Oh my gosh! Oh, come on, God. Listen. Oh, that's why, because I got that bump on my nose. Anyway, I'm back. Listen. So the Lord was talking about the more that the Lord grows in you, the more He expands in you, the more that um you allow the Lord to just expand from you. Does that make sense? You start to see that growth and that growth and that expansion in so many areas of your life. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I'm tracking with that. So he was like, and everything is included in that: joy, peace, happiness, abundance, prosperity, great relationships. Kids, you not, Sandy just said great relationships. And that's one of the things that I actually had when I was talking to the Lord about that this morning. Great relationships, right? Good morning, y'all. Good morning. And so the Lord was like, He finna give somebody, like, you're gonna start to see the growth and the expansion that you've been praying for. And for those of you who are looking for growth and expansion to happen, whether it's in your relationships, your finances, the prayer of Jabez may be something that you want to add into your prayer life, okay? Because it really does work. And I always like just different, there are different prayers, of course, that you can pray for different things. So the Lord been heavy talking about. Remember yesterday we said when we do the work and we start releasing things, we start making room for things. And for some of you, it's coming in quicker than you think. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay. So just know that believing in yourself, come on, stage coach, believing in yourself, believing in your truth. That's why y'all wanted my glasses on, because they be telling me stuff when this stuff be passing by. Believing in yourself, believing in your truth, believing in the enlargement, praying for it, asking for it, expecting it, and being grateful for it in advance. Is anybody in expectation of the Lord to do great and amazing things? Here's the thing. I need it because I need to tell somebody this, and I hope that it makes sense. Listen, as crazy as it sounds, if you can just say, Lord, this is what I need. I need a new car. We'll use a house. Come on, house. Let's use a house because why not? Right? Because for some of you, there's something that, like for me, right? There's something that only the Lord can do in your life. Is anybody, and you don't have to tell your business, you don't have to say what it is, but this is Great Expectation. Is that a book? Great Expectations? That sounds like a book. Um, that there's something that you need that only the Lord can help you to attain. Only if God don't help you do it, you don't have a clue how it's gonna happen. That's me. So I just be like, Lord, I don't know how you gonna do it. And I'm not really even worried about it. But I'm gonna just thank you for it now because I know that if you don't do it, I can't do it. So I'm gonna believe you to do it, and I'm just gonna be in expectation that everything is going to align so that it can happen for me. And so, in the vein of that, I be walking around, y'all. Who, if I want somebody, let's say you need a house, or let's say you need a car, or let's say, I don't care what it is, let's say it's something that you just want to happen or need to happen in your life. I want somebody, let's say you're looking for a house. Do y'all know that all day my phone be ding, ding, ding? I'm looking at houses, I'm looking at different things in the houses. You better download you a Zillow app. You better shout out Zillow. This is not a promotion. Redfin. What other one they got? Homes.com. You got to start because you realize when you start looking at things like you're calling what the Lord is trying to get us to do is start calling those things in that you want to see manifest in your life. So if you, even if it as crazy as it sounds, it's going to start with your imagination. It's going to start with you telling yourself that you already have the car that you want, the house that you want, the resources that you want, the opportunities that you want, the business that you want, the relationship that you want, and then living as if it's already in your life and it's already happening. And so the Lord was like, that's how you begin to enlarge. That's how you begin to expand because you literally start living the life that you desire for yourself. You start living as if you already own that car and own that house. And so when you start living like it's already done, you literally are calling it in. That's what being intentional means. That you already, if you believe, it's like faith, right? Remember we talked about security, but remember your faith is, I said I was going to make it another message, but I can't. Your faith is your down payment. Come on, God, drop that in the chat. My faith is my down payment. And if you use your faith as your down payment, then you will be able to start seeing things come in for you. Does that make sense? My faith, and yes, it's depositing faith. My faith is my down payment. My faith is what's going to bring it in. My faith is going to bring in the growth and the expansion and the elevation. So if you're looking for a car, then your faith is the down payment. You start believing for it. You start, and that's when you really start to see things. It's like the way that they're showing me, and not a cell. Who remembers a nucleus, protons and electrons, right? I don't know who. I don't know. Well, come on, Bill Nye, the science guy. Child, who remembers this? I ain't been in them classes since 50, 11 years ago, and y'all gonna use protein? Y'all gonna use the nucleus? Y'all gonna use the atom? Because all I remember is I am not Jimmy Neutron. Okay, I'm back. Child, not y'all call me Jimmy Neutron. No, I'm not, because I don't even remember the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. Okay, I'm back. positive charge, negative charge. Why are y'all using this analogy? But we receive it. But I was just saying, I this is not my spirit names. Let me just tell y'all right now, because what I know, cause I'm not trying to handle y'all, but I know y'all don't remember that. Who spirit names them went to school and they somebody spirit somebody spirit names know something. See that my papa letting me know that wasn't them. That's some this somebody else spirit names. They got a whole lot of science knowledge. Cause this ain't that ain't my this ain't my people name. I mean I'm not. But y'all, you know what? I'm not finna argue with y'all because I know this is not y'all. But I'm not saying that y'all can't know it because y'all probably know it now because y'all's in the spirituals. But I just, okay, I'm back. I'm not finna argue with them because when you know, and I know y'all a proton and in the new. Okay, I'm back. Listen. So so it's like magnetizing because okay, thank y'all. Yeah, come on, magnets. Drop some magnets in the chat. We magnetize, yeah, we can use some magnets because what we want to do is we want to start calling in, we want to start attracting um the thing that we want, right? So look, don't say that because you said that bell wasn't for you, but it was. You probably right, you right. I mean, I'm not saying it like that. What I'm saying is I know my spirit names and I know when it's somebody else spirit names because I know how they talk. I know how they talk. I know them. So I'm just saying that this is not my spirit names. This is somebody else spirit names. Now magnets, absolutely, this is my spirit names. But talking in scientifical terms, that's somebody else spirit names. Okay, I'm back. So this is about us enlarging by attracting. Come on, God, enlarging by attracting. So when God expands within us, He enlarges within us. Remember that everything in the world belongs to the Lord. For real, for I don't care what you say. I don't care who they say own the world. The world belongs to God, right? So everything here, that means when God expands within you, that means that everything that you want is also, it's like they're giving me dominion. Like really the Lord is giving, He gives us the opportunity to be just as creative as He is by attracting the things in that we need, that we want to see manifest in our lives. And so the bigger God grows within you, the more you understand your ability to magnetize and bring things in for yourself, bring in the things that you truly want to see in your life. That's how you begin to enlarge your territory. It starts within. It starts with your faith. It starts with your understanding of God. It starts with you saying, there's nothing that's off limits to me. There's nothing that I can't be, do, or have. This morning, I was talking to the Lord. And I was just telling him, I was just like, Lord, I talk a lot about abundance and I talk a lot, but I talk a lot about money and I talk a lot about resources because I don't think that we talk about that enough. I told the Lord this morning, true story. I said it's crazy because people will tell you not to say, like they'll kind of try to, I don't want to say monitor, but monitor what you're saying or what you're presenting, or try to tell you what you can and can't say, what you can and can't talk about. But the problem is, and I'm just be honest, do I need to say that part? Because I mean, I could say it because why not? So like when my whole thing is I'm gonna use a do I want to say a TV show? Not necessarily a TV show. I just want to give the opportunity for people that are trying to come out of situations, that are trying to who I'm trying to help people who don't understand the principles and concepts of abundance. A lot of times when you look on social media and different TV shows, what you see people that are famous talking to other people that are famous. And I told the Lord just this morning, I say, Daddy, I ain't trying to be funny, but I don't necessarily want to talk to famous people, if that makes sense. And it's not that I don't want to, I don't know how to say it. I want to be able to talk to people who need the understanding of what abundance is. I want to be able to talk to help people who need to understand that wealth is really a mindset and that it's a spiritual principle, because the people that are at the top, they already they have the understanding of it, right? It's those of us, it's the 99%, if you will, that don't understand that you don't have to stay at the bottom. The difference between us and people, and the people at the bottom and the people at the top, is that they have already mastered the principles. Does that make sense? And so that's why the Lord said we're gonna keep talking about it on this level, because until you understand that wealth is a mindset and it really all comes from God, you'll still be looking at other people talking, other wealthy people, successful people, and there's enough people talking, there's enough wealthy and successful people talking to each other. So my prayer is that these messages help people that are still trying to understand the principles of how to enlarge, how to expand, how to grow, how to, like, where it truly comes from and stems from. Does that make sense? So it's no knock on anybody, of course, but it's me, the Lord just giving me an understanding that there's so many people who need to understand the basics, right? The basic principles of wealth and abundance, and that it really is a mindset. So I hope that that helps somebody. Um, Instead of us it just being rich people talking to more rich people. Like, there's enough people doing that. And so for some of you, you're also going to have businesses and things that you're creating that are going to help people to come out of some type of struggle in in whatever the Lord has given you to do. Okay, whatever business he's giving you to do. So I don't know who needed that part of the message. I wasn't going to talk about that, I don't think, but since the Lord gave it to me, we going to do it. Okay. So we going to talk about it. So, because why? We're bringing in things to be faithful for, things to be grateful for, things to be thankful for. And that's what we going to talk about today. Okay. All to do it. Let's get to it. Y'all like the live, share the live, share the love. Let's see what just felt. Now I think we used these the other day. What y'all said, the clarity is real. Child, let me find it, Lord. The clarity. Well, we might still use those, but we just used the El Fulio on them the other day. So hold on, y'all. Let me find the right cards. What's them? Angel numbers. Child, I don't even know where. Wait a minute. Oh, there they go. Wait a minute. That ain't them, is it? Oh, because they don't go there. I was like, now wait a minute now. Hold on, y'all. Let me get the clarity is real out this thing. So I need these because those go in there. Which ones? These ones. We can use them. All it do it. Let's get to it. I'm not gonna use prosperity clarity today. We're gonna talk about some things we're gonna be grateful for. Okay. All it do it. Here we go. Like the live, share the live, share the love. Spirit animal medicine, and haters gonna hate at the bottom of the day. Yeah, and even that, because we're gonna be thankful for our haters as well, right? Y'all, I cannot make this up. On the cut. Look at that. Can anybody see that? Y'all knew something, didn't it? On the cut. Okay. Come on, tapped in. All it do it. Let's tap in. I can't make it up, y'all. Told y'all that this is what the Lord sent me to this morning. And here we go on the cut, the prayer of Jabez. Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm so I will be free from pain. Okay. Told y'all I can't make it up. Thank you, Lord. We received the confirmation. Tapped in, divinely guided spirit messages, activations, divination, and Magic. Voila, it's magic. It's really not. It's the Lord. Okay. The Sun card. Hey, ma, love you. It's not magic, it's God. Come on, God. It's not magic, it's God. I need somebody to drop that in the chat. It ain't magic, it's God. I don't, it's not magic. Well, I guess it is, because God is magic. I guess you could say it that way. So however you want to look at that, it's God. It's all God. That's all it is. Okay. So let's see what else. Come on, prosperity, clarity. We receive it. We receive the confirmation. Thank you, Lord. We receive it. Didn't I tell y'all something was picking up speed? Look at the y'all. Why a feather just blew on my windshield? I wish I could show. I wish I could show it to y'all. I can't turn y'all around, but if I can y'all see? That feather that just blew, look, it done blew away. Y'all, why did a feather just fly on my windshield? It's on my windshield, child. I can't make it up. We receive it. Come on, spirit. It's all God. It's all God. What is this? Ola do it. Thanks for their gift. Can we say, come on, God? Daddy, you were showing out today, Daddy. You have meant it in your spirituals. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Indeed, and amen. The Son, Jesus, we love you with our whole heart, right? Thanks for their gifts. Thank you, Lord, because that's the gift, right? It's a gift to be able. And y'all said that. Y'all told me that yesterday, or was that today, this morning? Being thankful for your gifts. Okay, being thankful for your gifts. Somebody, a feather may be and something that you ask for. It may be something that is significant for you. Y'all know feathers are one of the ways that spirit and them communicate. Okay, that's one of the ways. Faith at the bottom of the deck, Hebrews 11:1. I've been getting the number 111 a lot over the past couple of days. So that may be something that's that faith deposit. Telling y'all, child, that's that down payment of faith that's coming in. So we finna see what else. Okay. The Lord and Daddy said he was coming out the gate with it today. Come on out the gate. He meant that in him spirituals. He meant that. You just never know how the Lord is going to show up in your life. Okay. You never know how the Lord will give you whatever confirmation that you need to receive in order to receive him. Come on, God. He will do whatever he needs to do in order to let you know. Come on, A1. He will do whatever he needs to do to let you know that he's still here. He's still listening. He heard your prayers. He heard what you asked for. Right. He knows what you need. That's why we're going to go ahead and start just giving God the glory and being grateful now. Come on, prayer, for the things that the Lord is bringing in. Okay. Ola do it. Leg it to it. Here we go. What else? Healing works. We talked about that yesterday. Trauma bonds, abandonment wounds, rejection, childhood trauma, inner child healing. I told y'all, when you do the work, when you start, and we did shadow work Wednesday yesterday, somebody that made room. Whatever, I don't know. Maybe you received something that happened in the message yesterday. Maybe something spoke to you specifically that the Lord has been trying to tell you, child, trying to make you understand. Like, listen, if you let this go, I'll be able to do something else in your life. So if that is for you, I just heard, look, that says Hope Street. So that is hope, wealth, and healing, right? It's like you're at the they just said the intersection of it. Come on, God, you're at the intersection of it. So there's that's how the expansion is coming in, because some of you, there's the magnet. I can't make it up. There's the magnet, messages from spirit up under that. I can't make it up. Telling you, I don't, it's like understanding that we really have the ability to manifest what it is that we want, y'all. And we have got to start feeling excited and happy and joyful about the things that you're asking God for right now. Magnetic, manifestation, spell work, energy, visualization. Remember, I just said that what you want to do, like do things like put, y'all know I got Gigi on my phone. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's 5 years from now. I don't care if it's 10 years from now. If you are giving yourself constant reminders that the things that you want also want you. Come on, mission. The thing, some of you, what you mean, like being, yeah, somebody getting ready to start a new part. Like this is part of your mission, your assignment. Somebody's getting ready to embark on a new mission. You're calling it in. You don't even realize it. Like the happier the sun card, that's a card of positivity and positive energy. You don't even realize that you're calling in exactly what it is that you've been praying for. And it's simply, come on, we got your back. It's simply because you're believing God for it. You're believing Him to do what He said He's going to do. Somebody finna have something to celebrate. Yeah, child, that's beautiful. 'Cause I don't know. You know what you're praying for. Come on, the chosen one. Let's see what else. Good energy. What? Because of the shift? Yeah, because the shift has happened. The shift is taking place. And now, look, Faith wanted to come back out again. I should have just kept it, but I'm going to move on from it. We got your back, and the feather was proof. He going to do it too. He going to do it. Okay, let's get one more, then we'll clarify it and see what else we need to know. Okay. Child, this is a mess. The law of attraction. So which part? Somebody is sitting, look at 19. Hey, Ma, somebody, it's like almost like you. Look, there go the voyage too. It's almost like you understanding that. I don't know if you spent some extra time with the Lord, but what they're showing me is like you just being still enough to allow yourself to receive the messages that the Lord is trying to give you. Somebody, this is about slowing down, right? Sometimes, a lot of times life be life, and so we feel like we always got to be on the move. But for somebody, it's like the fact that you're slowing down. I don't know if you're meditating. I don't know what you're doing to allow the Lord to speak to you, but He's told you something very specific, and you're getting ready to receive. You're getting ready to see this expansion and this enlargement that's happening. There's a blessing coming in. What else? And all you had to do was slow down and allow the Lord to give you the messages that you needed to receive. That's it. What's the clarity? Psychic witchcraft. Somebody called me witchcraft a witch yesterday. I almost told them thank you. No, they commented, huh? Someone said that yesterday on one of my videos, and they talk about it all the time, which of course it doesn't bother me. I started to just say thank you, right? I receive it. But I don't really care. The thing about it is, did the message help you? If the message helps you, you can call me whatever you want to call me. And for some of you, this is also about what you're doing and how you're moving forward. You can call me and say whatever you want to say, but the Lord is going to keep enlarging me, because we're not going to stop praising Him. We ain't going to stop talking about Him. We're not going to stop talking about the blessings. We're not going to start feeling good about the things that we're manifesting. For yes, for some of you, there are going to be some people who are going to speak against what you're doing. There are going to be people who are going to tell you not to, and not to, don't ask for that. We touched on it yesterday. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it today. Some people, but you got to know this, because of the fact that people are going to say, because the Lord is expanding you, they're going to come against you and say that you're doing things that are not godly. You're doing things to get the things that you want, that are, I don't know, witchcraft or whatever you want to call it, or selling your soul. I don't care what you want to call it. Because the Lord is bringing in the expansion, you have to know the things that you're going to be facing as the Lord begins to bless you, as the Lord begins to expand you and enlarge your territory. There are going to be people that are going to say that you did it by nefarious. Come on, nefarious, that you did it by nefarious means, or that you did something that you shouldn't have been doing in order to get it. But I need you to take that with a grain of salt, because even if you are a witch, if you a good witch, and you look, if I'm a witch, I'm a good witch. I was finna say a cuss word, insert expletive word, but if you, as long as you know you working for the Lord, you just got to be okay with the Lord continuing to bless you, and you got to be okay with what anybody's going to say about you, because they gonna talk regardless. You're not going to be able to change the way they feel. You're not going to be. They're gonna have something to say. So let them talk. Let them feel how they feel. Let them say what they're going to say, because yes, the Lord is getting ready to start making you a public display of expansion, of what the work of the Lord within you and through you can do. And it's going to be some folks coming up against you. This why you got to go through that training season. This why you got to go through that season where the Lord is teaching you to have thicker skin. He's, because somebody, I've been saying this for somebody, you just don't even realize what you're attracting, what your light is bringing in. And as a result of that, you got to be able to deal with criticism. You got to be able to deal with people not liking you. You got to be able to deal with that because it's included. It comes with the territory. Okay. It comes with the territory. And so just know that regardless of what just keep depending on the Lord. Keep giving God the glory. Stay humble, of course, because we know that we're not doing anything on our own strength. We know that the Lord is the one who's actually, come on, high HGH. Look, the Lord is the one, come on, God, who's taking us higher. And so you got to be okay. It's going to be some folks that just ain't going, they're not going to believe that all you did was deposited some faith. Okay. They're not going to believe that the only thing you did to receive this expansion and this growth and this elevation was trusted in the Lord. They're going to make it about something else. So just know that you got to be okay, and you'll be all right. Let them think whatever they want to think. Let them call it whatever they want to call it. As for me, we gonna just keep serving the Lord. Okay. That's it. We just gonna keep serving the Lord. And some, people are just going to always have an opinion, but you can't really care about people's opinions, right? You got to keep it moving and let them have their opinions. That's fine. But just because it's your opinion doesn't make it true. Okay. Just because they said it doesn't make it true about you. He who sees God, come on, God. That's why it's like it's so crazy that people can't believe that you really are just that blessed. Can we drop that in the chat? I'm just that blessed. I'm just that blessed. And what you mean, like I'm just that blessed. I'm just that blessed because my faith is just that big, right? I'm just that blessed because my faith is just that big. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing other than I got a real relationship with the Lord. I have a real relationship with my daddy, with my Father who art in heaven. And because of that, I'm just that blessed. And so it's going to be some folks who don't believe that your faith is the only thing that's taking you places, but they're going to be all right. Okay. Archangel Shamuel, he who sees God, this is the angel of unconditional love. And that's why, because we know how God loves us. Because I love my dad. Lord, can we just give God some glory real quick? Lord, I love you. I love you with my whole heart. And so when you ain't got nothing but love in your heart, like when the Lord fills you with that, come on, Habakkuk 2:2 and 3, tell y'all somebody vision, somebody dream finna manifest. We gonna keep this. We gonna come back to it in a second. It's like when you just love the Lord, when you really just have nothing but love for the Lord, you can't even be mad at the folks who gonna feel some type of way about the blessings that the Lord is giving you. I can't even be mad about people who mad. I just want you to, if you love the Lord like I love the Lord and you walk in faith like I walk in faith, then you're going to receive the same type of blessings. And I pray that you receive them. There's no other, for some of you, this is like because the expansion is on the horizon. So the Lord, they said, get ready. Get ready, because the expansion is on the horizon. What else does it say? Universal peace, it's included. Come on, God. Once again, it's included. Unconditional love, all knowing, universal peace, healing anxiety and worry. So because we walk in faith, because we know the Lord, guess what's included? Unconditional love. I have love written right here. Love, peace, happiness, abundance, prosperity, great relationships. It's included. It comes with the blessings of the Lord. Repairing relationships. Now, mind you, I did not, okay, y'all did tell me we was going to use, but I didn't realize that this was on this card, right? The heart, the dove, balance, the crown chakra, the crown and the heart chakra. It's included. These are things that when you continue to just pray, you continue to just believe, like this is that Matthew 6:33. All of these things are added unto you. It's included. Write my answers plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Drop that in the chat. No delays. Some of you pray when you ask the Lord to start bringing these things in without delay. Like, we can't rush the Lord, of course, but some of us, it's almost like you, it's maybe it's just like, Lord, I'm gonna need this to go ahead and come in like now. Okay, there are some things that the Lord will bring in expeditiously. There are some things, especially if it's something that you need, and that's what they're wanting me to point out. Look at the journals at the bottom. Just come on, seasons change. Listen, look at the journals at the bottom. Write the vision, right? This talks about Archangel Sandalphon. This is brother. Y'all know that's what Jermaine means. It means brotherly. Did I tell y'all that before? Brother to Archangel Metatron, once human. That's that, right? That goes with this. Thank y'all. Prayer, music, manifestation, stability, grounding, messenger, collects our prayers and wishes and delivers them to God. I can't make this up. So for some, they just said intercessor. So what y'all mean? You don't need somebody to stand. Okay. How do I say this? Okay. We stand in the gap for each other, which means before I come on these lives, I pray for y'all, and as I'm praying for myself, just like I pray for my children, just like I pray for my community, right? But somebody is understanding that you don't have to have an intercessor. Does that make sense? It's great to have somebody to intercede for you, but at the same time, you don't have to have an intercessor. Like Jesus was the intercessor. Does that make sense? Jesus was the intercessor for us. He was the bridge between us and God. I never heard them tell me that before. Yeah, because y'all never said it that way before. Message. Jesus was the intercessor for us. He's the one who truly is like stood in the gap for us. He was the bridge between us and God. Now, what some of you are stepping into, because they're talking about the gifts, what some of you, and I don't know, maybe myself included, there's some of us who have a different level of communication with God, but it's only because we may spend more time with God than other people do. Does that make sense? But that doesn't mean that you got to come through me because I ain't nobody. And I don't, you should never have to go through someone else in order to have your relationship with God. Not your bishop, not your pastor, not your minister, not your prophet, not your seer, not your tarot reader, not nobody. You do not have to do that. And for some of you, that's what you're learning as you're learning to tap in and just build your own connection. For some of you, that's why, come on, God, that's why the journaling is so important, because sometimes especially if you're first starting out and you don't really understand or know how to receive the messages, the downloads, the wisdom that are coming from God, you will get them in a time when you're just sitting and you're just writing and giving gratitude, and then you're just going to get some answers. You'll start getting things just out the blue. You'll start getting messages. You'll start getting inspiration. You'll start getting ideas so that you can start to understand and hear, because God will speak to you in a time when you're not really focused on anything else other than giving gratitude or just talking to him, if that makes sense. Journaling is one of the best ways to just talk to God and say what you, because sometimes you, if until, I don't know, like, you ever felt like maybe it's just me, and especially if you're going through some type of warfare, you don't know exactly what, you ever felt like you don't know what to say to God? Like, sometimes you just be like, you don't know what to say. He already knows your heart. But sometimes you just be like, you don't even know how to ask. You don't even know what to say. And you sometimes, or either you feel like, I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but you can put things on paper and write the vision, and he'll speak to you while you're actually figuring out the best way to articulate that to him. Does that make sense? So again, y'all know I'm an advocate for journaling. because I understand the value of it. I understand the value of just sitting down and writing a letter to God when you don't know. Sometimes you don't know how to forgive a person or forgive yourself, and you can just write a letter to God, and that will help you to start to release and remove and just say what needs to be said. Okay, so I hope I don't, and that is also a time for some of y'all, especially if you like to write, and even if you don't, they're really talking about, just remember we said something about like getting still, getting quiet, allowing the Lord to speak to you. So it feels like they're giving on this particular part of the message, like, if you feel like you're not hearing God, God is trying to give you ways to hear him. Does that make sense? So that you don't feel like you have to go to an outside or an external source to receive your confirmations, to receive your messages. It's great to receive them. And I'm so grateful that the Lord uses me in that respect. But I want y'all to develop your own relationship with God to where you, as his sheep, you know his voice. That's what that means when it says my sheep know my voice. You have to be able to know God for yourself. You don't need someone, and it's great, but you're not, you're getting to it. So which I mean, like somebody's getting to that point where you're going to know, and you're not going to need other people to confirm it for you, because the Lord is going to strengthen that connection with you so that you know when he's speaking to you. This is speaking to someone who needs to make a decision. And what happens is, and I've gone through this so I can speak on it. I promise I have experience with this. When you're searching for an answer, you're searching for a route or a path, or you're trying to figure out what God is saying to you. You oftentimes, what we'll do is we'll go and try to find answers external to us. But what God is actually asking us to do is go within. That's the hermit energy. That's the meditation. That's the being in the silence. That's the soul searching, because God's answers are going to come from within. Then he will begin to confirm things external. But a lot of times, and because they're what, like, not getting off track, or you don't want to go down the wrong path, because you have to, if you don't build that relationship and that connection with God, you'll start listening to people, and there will be people who will take you off track. You may already be on track, but because it's almost like you looking for other people to justify the decisions that you're making. Does that make whoever this message is for? You have to be so solid and so secure in God that you know when God is telling you to do something. You know when you just have to sit still until you know when God gives you a direction. There's some, and because you don't want to, it's like they're trying to prevent you from going down an unnecessary path. Whoever this message is for, I don't know. So I hope that, wait for it, right? It's like some, and this is the thing, you can't rush the answers from God, and you don't want to, because you don't want, it's going to save you some steps. It's going to save you some steps. Okay, whoever that message is for. What else? Yeah, child, and that's fine. So for some, yeah, so I said that, that's all that one's got to say on that. Okay, what else? Thanks for their gifts. Let's clarify it and see what else is coming in. It's the patient part. Yeah, it's the patient part is the hardest. The wait is the hardest, because when you don't feel like anything is happening, that's when you tend to backslide. That's when you tend to start doing things or going down a path that is not the path that you're supposed to be walking. So be patient, because God will answer you. Okay, he will answer you. Okay. Listen and obey. If you listen to the if you listen to these commands of the Lord your God that I'm giving you today, and if you carefully obey them, the Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you will always be on top and never at the bottom. Deuteronomy 28:13. Okay. So there's patience. Like sometimes the patience is the gift. Sometimes the stillness is the gift. Sometimes the quiet is the gift. I know a lot of times we often want these big, extravagant things from God. But what I've started to realize with God is that if you can be thankful for every little thing that God brings in, it culminates, it ends in something big, right? It ends in the, come on, Christian brothers, it ends in not the alcohol. I don't know if that was the alcohol or not, but we talking about spirit, but not that kind. Okay. Child, I used to put that in some coffee. Anyway, I'm back. Don't judge me. Listen. Sometimes if we can start to recognize that the Lord brings in the little steps, right? The little steps, and being grateful for those little steps, those little steps add up, right? Those those little steps add up. And so, child, I used to put that's what I used to put in some Irk and Jerk, that ENJ. I don't my bad. I got distracted. But y'all had said it, so I'm gonna say it. They the ones that passed by. Okay, listen. I did. I used to put on my ancestor altar. Okay, I'm back. But did. I used to put y'all some ENJ up there. I can't wait to put my ancestor altar back up. Y'all that if you new to the community, who the popo's finna go get? Welcome to the community. You never know what you gonna get over here, because y'all the guy had got so distracted. Ain't nobody got no alcohol. I'm what? Who ancestors them want to drink? Anyway, I'm back. Oh, I'm back. Listen, I'm not. I ain't got no ancestors. I'm gonna put some on y'all altar when I put the altar back up. Y'all, right now, y'all gonna get this incense and be married. Like that's what we gonna do. Okay, I'm back. So who grandmama, who people them used to drink? Not Thunderbird. Now you got to be from the South if you know somebody got some. Well, my people them like beer. It ain't my people them because they like beer. They from Texas. They want to my uncle. Even though my uncle used to they like beer. So this ain't my people them. I am not encouraging nobody to go drink no alcohol. I'm just told to somebody that somebody people them said post something out for them. Okay. And they said Thunderbird. And first of all, I ain't heard nothing about no Thunderbird since I was back in Mobile, Alabama. Not Thunderbird and Kool-Aid. What? If you know, you know. I'm back. Listen. Do you know this somebody country? This somebody from the South. It is. Because otherwise, you don't know nothing about no Thunderbird and Kool-Aid. Anyway, who people name is this? I'm back. Look, Jungle Juice. I don't know. Somebody, I don't know. Maybe you had a drink and you toasted your people them. I don't know, baby. But somebody, Granny, that's you, ain't it? I love you, Granny. My granny used to have, not my in-law granny. I don't even want to tell your business, but baby, let me just say, everybody knew where to go if they. It was so Heaven's Hill, something like that. Why are we talking about alcohol? I don't know. So I guess they need to let y'all know that they here. I don't know if you and Taka Vodka, my God, she used to sell it in the shot cups, in the baby jar. Yeah, babe. This somebody granny, since that's what they wanted me to talk about today. I'm just toting somebody. Y'all had meant that in y'all spirituals, didn't it? Y'all pour some out for y'all granny, okay? For y'all people them. Look, with that gangster link, this one's for my homies. We're not calling y'all the homies, but y'all the homies for real, okay? I'm back. Listen and obey. Okay, we are the head and not the tail. So yes, if you've been talking to your grandmama in the spirituals, this what I be talking about. Y'all think y'all people them don't be talking to y'all, but maybe y'all just ain't listening. Are y'all not listening to y'all people them? I'm gonna need y'all to listen to y'all people them. They trying to tell y'all that they are around and they are here. And I don't, and oh, that's what y'all was talking about. So it's not just God, y'all. Some of y'all, that's what the gift is. That's what we're talking about. That's what the gift is. Like, God really does give us a whole spirit team. And I said that to them this morning. Like, I'm so grateful for my spirit team, y'all. I'm so grateful for my mama, right? I'm so grateful for my grandmama. The feather, thank you, Earl. My grandmama, her name is Erlene, and my mama's mama. And literally on her card, this how I know it's y'all grandmama. Let me just show y'all, because why not? Because we here for it. Let me get the angel numbers deck out, Lord, so I can show y'all how y'all peeping them be talking and who's talking to you, as a matter of fact. Because some of you, you're getting to that point. Look what's at the bottom of the deck. 6:33. I can't make it up. Okay, let me just show y'all how I know it's your grandmama. Because some of y'all, remember we've been talking about setting up your spirit language with your spirit names. And so the Lord then gave you a whole team of folks working with you. And it's, I guess maybe it's for some of y'all. I got that number this morning, didn't it? 1919. I got it yesterday. And Psalms 91, because Jay Causey made a post or something, and or he you talked about it on, where's your card at, Earl? We was on this morning's Bible Clarity. It was Psalms 91, and I believe I recorded those on Monday. I think that's when I recorded them. So Psalms 91 came up. I don't know, child. Did I pass it? 226. Needless to say, her number is 225. And I don't see it. It might be in one of them other decks, child. I don't know. Because I sure don't see it. But it has a feather on it. Well, it's in one of them. I don't know where it's at. Um, Hers has a feather. Her card has a feather on it, and it's the number 225. It's about mixed up in one of them other decks, and it is what it is. I'm not finna go search. That just mean I got some of them mixed up, and I gotta go find them. I'll do it. Not today though, because I sure don't see it. Yeah, it's mixed up in another deck. No, it's not. I'm so blind. Look. So this is the feather, right? Okay, I'm back. Yeah, her name Erlene, child. We called her Earl. 225, spiritual and intuitive development, receiving divine wisdom. Ask the ancestors, okay? Ask the ancestors. And so some of you, what's happening is you're also receiving, like it's certain, I don't know, y'all know, for me, this I love when y'all be trying to explain y'all selves to y'all people them. I want you to pick your own signs, your own symbols, your own whatever. Think about your people them, because some of you, that's the gift we're talking about. Thanks for their gifts, right? And I know this is Philippians 4 and 13, but some of you, I don't know who you're talking to. If you're talking to your mama, your daddy, your grandmama them, your granddaddy them, I don't know who you're talking to in the spirituals, but I'm here to tell you that they are talking back to you. Maybe you're not believing it, or maybe you're doubting it. I don't know, but they coming through to say, no, we really here talking to you. They talk to you in different ways. For some of y'all, you gonna know specifically. I asked for a very specific sign this morning because I feel like the Lord is trying to introduce a teacher into my life, right? And so I was like, well, okay, Lord, if this is who I need to be studying right now, then send me this sign. So whoever you need however you need to set up your signs and synchronicities, that is going to help you know who you working with on your team right now, because you have different spirit names that come in at different times. And I wasn't planning on giving this message, but we receive it. This is those gifts coming online and knowing who likes to play with who likes to play with who. Look, I read my dad likes to play with lights. Who is helping you at this time, right? um I know, like, depending certain things, if you think about who your people names were, your spirit names were in life, right? You will understand what they are helping you with as you're stepping into a new part of your life, right? If you had a grandparent that was like a teacher or an educator, but you are going in that direction, then you can start to begin to understand who's giving you, which angels are giving you the most help. Like Archangel Sandalphon, and we have the journals on here. If you're changing your prayer life up, you'll start to understand what angels are helping you, what assistance you're receiving, if that makes sense. And for some of y'all, it's about believing that they're really talking to you. I can't make you believe that spirit and them are real. Like I can't make you believe that angels are real. I'm not here to try to convince you. I'm here to say, go talk to God about it, right? Talk to God about it and see. Look, Pam said Thunderbird, that's a blast from the past, child. That Thunderbird, I haven't seen that since I worked at a liquor store in my 20s, is what Sandy said. Um, but you gotta, first of all, you gotta believe that the ancestors name, spirit name are real. Now, If you, Evelyn says, should I focus on myself? If you don't know yourself, then yes. But this message ain't for you. And again, I can't tell you what level of your spirituality you are at. But if you are past if you know your intuition and you know what God sounds like, remember, I literally have gone through 3 different levels. That my sheep know my voice. So if you know what the voice of God sounds like for you, then that's that. Then and only then will other people start coming in. Like somebody, what they trying to rush for some of y'all, and this the thing, all of y'all too tapped in for all. Like if you new to the community, then welcome, honey. One, we so glad that you are so happy and so grateful you are here. But for others of y'all, we're well past the point. You know what God sounds like, and if you don't, that means you're not spending enough time with God. That's just it on that. There's no getting around it. And if you try to skip some steps, you're gonna be frustrated because God will not allow spirit name to talk to you if you don't know what God sounds like. And that's how you're going to know, because you're gonna be, a lot of you, that's why you're frustrated, but you can't, if you don't know what God sounds like, you shouldn't want to talk to anybody else. Who needs that message? But that doesn't mean that they won't be able to show you, like, we're here, but you got to be able to obey the voice of God. You got to be able to listen to God. You got to, people, and whether you believe in what I do or not, if you can't listen and obey God, then why would you want to talk to anyone else, right? And I will say this. I didn't know that I was listening to God at first, but I know now that it was always God. Does that make sense? I thought when I first started doing this, before I started serving the Lord the way that I do now, I thought I was just talking to my mama. But now that I have a closer relationship with God, now I understand that it was always God. Why? Because they up there with God. They are simply his messengers. So it was always God. It was always God. And so if you can't understand, so now I know the difference between when I'm talking to spirit nim and when I'm talking to my mama nim, because they can't do anything they can't say anything. There are times, this is a true story, I was so mad with spirit nim because they weren't saying anything to me and I had no idea why. And I have a stone, and it's my ancestor stone, and I could not find it, y'all. And I was so angry with spirit nim because I felt like they just was not talking to me. And I lost this ancestor stone and everything, and I was like, what is going on? And ended up finding it deep off in my closet where there's no way. I don't even know how I ended up finding it. But what they eventually told me was that I was relying on, come on, God, who is this for? That I was relying on angels. This is how you know who you really believe in. I was relying more on them than God. And so God made them shut all the way up. Now you ain't got to believe if you don't want to, but God will tell them, don't you say not now another thing, because they can't do anything. They can't tell me anything. They can't help me with anything. They can't do anything that God doesn't tell them that they can do. And the angel of the Lord, and the angel of the Lord, God will send them to help you, to talk to you, to direct you. And then if you can't spend the time talking to God, God say, I'm not, don't say nothing. And you're gonna be sitting there waiting for an answer, and you ain't gonna get nothing. Go talk to God about it. True story. So don't try to, you can't skip the God step. You can't skip the God step. Because if you don't know what God sounds like, this is how it's like, you can't skip this step. That's just it. You cannot, you don't want to, because that's how you start making decisions and keep yourself from, because this is when, come on, God, this is when you let God lead you. Because how many of us have made the wrong decision because we were listening to ourselves and not listening to God? We were doing things our own way instead of letting God just bring in the opportunities, instead of him and letting him show us. But how do you know that? Because you let God show you. You go talk to him. You get very, very, very familiar, especially in your wilderness season. You get very, very, very familiar with his voice. That way, you'll find yourself being willing to wait. You'll find yourself not making as many impulsive decisions because God is not in a hurry. God is not in a hurry. Wait for it. And you'll be willing to wait because you'll start to look at it and say, Lord, I want this growth and expansion, but I'm willing to wait for it. Why? Because if I try to rush it, I'm gonna mess up something. It's gonna be something, and that's why that's why we said patience is a gift, right? So go learn, go talk to God, read your Bible, talk to him, journal to him, write letters to him. I don't care what you need, how you want to do it. You better talk to God. I talk to God just like this. Daddy, daddy, daddy. And then he answers. And sometimes he don't, I don't know who, but don't try to skip the God step. Okay. Don't do it. Now, at the same time, you also talking, you think your spirit names don't hear you, they hear you. That's why they sending things like this white feather that just blew across my windshield. That's why they bring things like the coins. That's why there's certain things. I have certain things, just like my mama. One of the first things, because the way that I started this journey was through tarot. So that's why there's certain things. When the sun card comes up, originally the sun card was only my mama. But as God called me into service, the sun card for me is who? The Son, Jesus. So you start to develop that type of relationship. Your spirit names will come in and let you know, hey, we're here. We just want you to know that we got your back. We're here. You can still ask us. They really are your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guides, whoever, however you connect, we're here. But the decision ultimately lies with God. Okay. I don't know who needs that message, but we receive it. Okay, we receive it. Come on, 633 alignment. Okay. Um, let me put this back, child. And then I can't even make it up. Now look, I just put this back in the, let me just show y'all. I was putting this card, I was putting my grandmama card up, and y'all know this is my personal number. This is my higher self. This is me. This is the God in me, right? Your higher self. 336633, right? Spiritual teacher, the gift of prophecy, you have a higher calling on your life, the kingdom of God. That's why you got to keep searching. You got to keep going back to God. You got to keep talking, right? But you got help. Okay, you got help. So whoever needed that message, okay, I'm back. What, just coming into like new levels of understanding? It's levels to this thing now. It's levels to it. But you got to be willing to go through all the levels. You don't want to skip steps because you don't want to get off track. You don't want to be pulled into in the wrong direction, because it's very easy. Remember this, we're not fighting things down here, right? We're fighting, this is all spiritual stuff. Okay, this is all the spirituals and the spirituals. Here we go. I'll take step by step. Look, if God isn't in it, it's not for me. You better say that. Okay. You better say that. What else? Healing works easily and effortlessly. Come, you better say manifesting, connecting with God. What that say, y'all? Can y'all see that card? Connecting with God, being obedient, being in the flow. Okay. Archangel Uriel message happens to be at the bottom of the deck on that. Okay. So again, go talk to God. Make sure you're giving him some time. Yes, you're leveling up in your gifts. Yes, you're leveling up in your understanding. Why? Because some of you can pray for it. You can pray for it, right? And you can pray for the wisdom, the insight, the clarity, the knowledge that you need. But this is about continuing to believe in it as well. And for some of you, the reason that things are getting ready to start manifesting so quickly in your life, not only because of your connection, because of doing the healing. God is the ultimate healer. That's just it. There's no, I don't know. You can't give, we can't give, and we will not give that credit to anyone but to who deserves it. God is the one that helps you heal. There are people that can come in that can encourage your healing, but ultimately your healing, hey girl, hey child, Gigi outside, the healing begins with God, because he really is the one that can help you heal and help you to release these things, because then it's replaced with his love, with his kindness, with his compassion, with his nurturing. So just know that when you start to, and that's so for some of you, maybe that's some of y'all's first step, but you're going to start to see how things will start coming in quicker. The more you build that connection, the more you are obedient, listen and obey, like we just had, the more you're going to be in the flow and receive the healing and the love and the confirmations and the things that you need from the Lord. Okay, so just know that. Look, I wonder what she's doing, child. Okay, I'm back. What else? Which part? Oh, some of y'all gonna do some healing with somebody that's in the spirituals as well. This may be, I don't know. They just said maybe there's something that you didn't get a chance to say. Y'all need to talk to y'all spirit names. Cause what? That's all they want you to do is talk. Just talk to them. If it's something you didn't get a chance to say with somebody that's in the spirit, come on, ears to hear. I'm telling you right now, if there's someone that you need to do some healing with, just say it. Just do the healing that you need to do with whoever this is. Say what you need to say. The spirit of truth, the future, hearing in the spirit, being divinely guided. Just say what you need to say, okay? Because they're listening to you, and so you can let go of whatever this pain is or whatever. I don't know if you felt like you missed an opportunity to have a conversation. No, you didn't. You just got to have the conversation. Okay. Importante on this. Law of attraction. Say what you need to say. Child, God will give you the healing that you need. Indeed and amen. He most certainly will, because he's listening, right? I'm listening. In those days when you pray, I will listen. If you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me. I will be found by you, says the Lord. I will end your captivity and restore your fortunes. I will gather you out of the nations where I sent you and will bring you home again to your own land. That is Jeremiah 29:12 through 14. And of course, we know Jeremiah 29:11. I told y'all I saw that the other day. God is always listening. And for some of y'all, maybe that's it. Maybe you feel like God ain't listening to you. He's always listening. He's always listening. He will not abandon you. The Lord, even if you abandon him, I'm a firm believer that the Lord does not abandon you. Sometimes we just got to go back and pick him up where we dropped him off. Sometimes you just stop talking to God. Remember, so if you feel like you can't talk to him, write him a letter, say whatever, get it off your chest. And sometimes maybe you just need to sit in silence and just embrace and enjoy the presence of the Lord, because he'll give you comfort. Like sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes you can just sit in silence and just allow the Lord to give you comfort, because he will do it. Okay. And it's a true story. So some of you, I don't know, in part of your healing, that's what this is referencing, because they hadn't moved on to the law of attraction yet. So it just feels like you just gotta go talk to him. Okay, tap in. Here we go. Was that it for that? Okay, we back. hmm I don't know. Maybe somebody doubtful. I think we all experience that, but what doubtful of what, because when God ain't saying nothing, and that's why God is always talking. Sometimes we just want to, we not listening to what he says. Sometimes we just want, I don't know, maybe we just want God to say what we want God to say, but God doesn't do that. Okay. He don't just say stuff just to be saying, okay. He's gonna tell us what we need to, what we need to know, not just what we want to hear. And sometimes no, if he ain't talking, maybe he's setting something up. Maybe he's arranging something. Maybe he's setting something up behind the scenes. Maybe I don't know. I can honestly say I don't feel like God has ever stopped talking to me. I'm just, there have been time. Well, there have been times that I recognize now. I don't feel like God has ever stopped talking to me. I don't. I think that when you create that kind of blockage, just like everything else, I'm a firm believer that if you believe that God is not talking to you, then you're going to make yourself believe that he's not talking to you. I believe it. It just, and we hear that all the time. I just don't feel, because I see God in everything. Like, I literally see God in everything. I see God in the trees. I see God in the leaves. I see God in the clouds. Like, I've come to understand, because God is in everything, that he's always talking. And sometimes it's just that when he's the way he's talking or what he's saying, maybe it's not the way that you want to receive it. It's not what you want to hear. Right. But if you start to just, and I think that comes with like different, like levels, like we said, right? If you just start to recognize God in everything, the life in everything, even in inanimate objects, I truly feel like you'll understand that God is always talking to you, like all the time. He never stops. Okay. What else? I just looked at this card, right? And I said, every time we pull this deck, this card comes out. It comes out with the other one that hasn't come out yet, but we're talking about the law of attraction, a bright future, visionary, self-sabotage. Do you see it? Oh, that's why, because I was just talking about I see God in everything. Thank y'all. Because I do. I see God in everything. I see God in every single thing. And so as a result of that, I know that God is always talking to me. And so I never have to doubt that he's talking to me. I don't know, whoever needs that message. It's about changing your perspective and understanding that God never stops talking. He's always giving encouragement, and maybe he's just not giving you the answer that you're waiting for, but that doesn't mean he's not listening. That doesn't mean he's not talking. You just have to be able to see God in every day and everything in your life. Like, do you see it? Do you see God in the good and the bad? Do you see God in the wait? Do you see him in the patience? Like, can you see him as you're waiting on the answer that you've been praying for, right? As you're waiting, can you still see God? Y'all know we talk about in the pit and in the palace, but it's like, okay, all of God is included in everything. He's included in the wait, he's included in the struggle. God is still there in all of that. So anyway, next part, they just said, this is, I told y'all, some of you, you're manifesting your vision, whatever it is that you've written down and you've asked God for. Somebody's manifesting. You're getting closer to it. Come on, stay in a king's place, being confident. And look, do you trust me up under that? Being confident that the Lord is going to bring in exactly what you've been asking for, because yes, we get what we pray for, right? Authority, confident, a man after God's own heart, fair and just. And then, do you trust me with the arrow to abundance that is up under that? Intuitive feelings, your inner compass, God, divine guidance. So keep on walking towards the vision, the goal, the dream, the aspirations that God is placing in your spirituals, okay? Because you're manifesting it. Your energy is bringing it in. Your positivity is bringing it in. Your faith is bringing it in. And you got to keep walking towards it. Even if it's only one step at a time, child, just take that step and keep on moving forward, because it's a blessing coming. I'm telling somebody now, I don't know. Come on, Jesus, crown me. Jesus is king, leadership, the fruitful vine. You are a royal priesthood. Side note, I said message that I was going to share this, right? Um, Remember yesterday I told y'all the number 811, right? And it's 811 on my clock. 811. So remember yesterday I told y'all that I've been seeing the number 811. And so if you've been on here, I also was telling y'all that I kept on getting the message, like I felt like I needed to go read about Joseph. And so yesterday I sat down and I was like, let me go ahead and go read about Joseph again. So I sat down yesterday, started reading about Joseph. I want to say I think it was Genesis 49 through 11. So I'm reading about Joseph yesterday, and I get to Genesis 49 through 11, and it starts talking about the grapes. Now, when I looked up the number 811 in Strong's Concordance, I didn't look at the references, right? I didn't look at the chapters that it was referencing. I just looked at what it meant. Hey girl, hey. I just looked at what it meant and was like, oh, okay, a cluster of grapes. So then I'm reading Joseph yesterday, and it starts talking about the cluster of grapes. So I say, let me go and look up 8:11 again and look at the chapter references and why, y'all, of all the things, it literally was referencing Genesis 40 and 10. Genesis 40:10 was literally what 8:11, one of the chapters that it would come on, God, that strategic. I'm telling you right now, strategic. It was, look, there goes your gifts will make room for you. Told y'all somebody gifts coming. It's like elevation. I receive it, Lord. And I was so outdone. I was like, OMG, I can't even believe it, right? Because I had been seeing that. The Lord had been telling me about Joseph to go read it. I finally went and read it, and it just all kind of made sense. Needless to say, grapes for me are about harvest, okay? They are about a harvest. Seven of Pentacles. I know True Beauty had that. She pulled that card. I didn't see it, but I saw the message flash across my screen, and I saw part of it say about the grapes. Somebody is getting ready to receive this harvest. This is that expand. This is the growth and expansion. I gotta check and see. I don't think it's referenced in there, but I have to check it. Somebody is getting ready to receive this harvest. Now, God's chessboard, strategic moves, playing games, checkmate, following your passion, natural gifts, doesn't feel like work, God-given abilities. Why? Because your gifts are making room for you. That's what this card says. Your gifts are making room for you. So I don't know, somebody stepping into and this is clarifying the law of attraction as well. Your gifts, we've been talking about gifts the whole time. Your gifts are making room for you. And maybe some of you are just trying to start to, I don't know, maybe you're trying to understand your gifts. What, like accept it? Which I mean, well, I don't, because I don't. Well, why we got to put titles on stuff? Why I can't just be why I don't, because I don't call myself nothing. First of all, let me just tell y'all they on my neck, right? As y'all can hear, they on my neck. Why? Because well, I don't, cause I don't really just care nothing about that. Like, I don't care nothing about no titles. I don't need to be called nothing but a messenger for the Lord. Like some of you, and maybe, which I mean, like being too humble. Yeah, I don't think. Okay, well, yeah, because it's well, yes, the Lord did already bless us with these gifts, and we know it. Some of y'all, you just coming into acceptance of your gifts, and it's like, don't like be humble because we're humble before the Lord, but also don't downplay your gifts. And that they be talking to me about that because it's like you just don't want to be. Mm, they're giving because you're a prophet. That's the best. It's almost like you downplaying your gifts because you don't really want any titles, or you don't want, like, you're not trying to put yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you just like, man, I don't care about none of that, right? I don't care about no titles. I don't need to be called nothing. Come on, a star is born. Didn't I tell y'all this star energy kept coming up? It keeps coming up. This is another thing. I told the star it's been following me. Okay, I'm back. Um, because you're not, like, just embrace your gifts, own your gifts. And it's you because you're not, because the Lord, maybe it's because you like, I don't want people to think that I'm this, that, or the third. You really not. But it's about embracing your gifts. And that's what they talking about. Like, embrace your gifts. The thing about it is the Lord has blessed you with this. This is not anything that you are trying to say for yourself. This is just you understanding how the Lord is using you. Yes, I receive it. I hear y'all talk. I hear y'all, but I don't be studying that. And so maybe that's why they telling me so I can tell y'all. Um, we're gonna embrace we are embracing our gifts, but yes, you it's like just be willing to just embrace it because that's all. It's almost like that's going to be, it's pivotal. It's about knowing who you are, and it's not being arrogant or haughty. I don't think I've ever used, have I used that word in a sentence? I don't know, but we received the intellectuals today. We received the intellectuals, but um the Lord knows that you ain't, like, you don't consider yourself anything, but it's also about embracing who you are. Okay. Y'all know, y'all understand what I'm saying. I said what I said. Okay, I'm back. That's coming up on there. We're clarifying the what's the clarity card, by the way. A star is born, Archangel Aries. Okay, I'm done. This is it. Okay, let me show y'all what was up under these cards. So we're clarifying. I love the Lord. Daddy, I love you. Can we just stop and give God some glory real quick? I love the Lord, right? Because he be knowing. He be knowing. Listen, so we're clarifying what's the clarity, and a star is born was up under that. I told somebody this, your star is rising, increased popularity, star power, rich and famous. Yes, for some of you, that is your destiny. That is what you're being called into. This is a true story. Okay. So true story, give God the glory. Now, y'all know I'm finna start saying that because that was bars. It's a true story. Give God some glory. Come on, God. Oh, I got another one. Another one. That one was good. I like that one. We're gonna start using that. Um, that's a true story. Give God some glory. What? Oh, y'all know I had to see how I roll off my tongue a couple times. But hold on. Uno momento. Let me get it right in my spirituals. It's a true story. Give God some glory. Okay, I'm back. Thank you so much for subscribing, dearest one. Uh, I'm back. Listen, if it's true, then yeah, we received that. That's we is discussing it in the spirituals, but y'all know I'm gonna have to figure out. That's a lot to be saying. No, it ain't like a one liner. Okay, I'm back. We'll come back to it. Your star is rising, increased popularity, star power, rich and famous. Yes, this is for some of you. This is um your destiny. Okay, now let me show y'all what was up under that. Archangel Ariel, the lioness of God. Okay. This is the angel of nature, courage, strength, kindness, destiny, manifestation, and abundance. And who but our Lord and Savior showed up under that? And y'all know I love when God comes in and begins the reading with him and ends the reading with him, because what God said, what God said. He said what he said, meant it. Okay, so this is about knowing that God has blessed you and bestowed these gifts upon you. And this is not you being arrogant or haughty. This is what God said, and what God said, God meant. And so we receive that, Lord, and we thank you that he's coming in and confirming, not for whoever needs to know this. Like, God is the authority. He is the end all and be all. We have authority on one of these cards. Did I pull it? And he already said, we already know that God is making our moves. So what's included? Everything. Everything that God wants you to have is included with him. When you serve him, when we're doing the God's work, everything is included. And we just need to remember that. We just need to remember that God is our y'all idea, but I didn't ask for that as a confirmation today. I asked for something else. I didn't ask for the white lion today as my own confirmation. I asked the Lord to give me something else very specific. So just know this is the confirmation to let you know that God said what he said. And yes, he is enlarging your territory. Yes, he is expanding you. Yes, you are growing. Yes, you are moving forward. Yes, this is your destiny. Yes, whatever you are praying for, it's about believing and knowing that God didn't give you that vision, that idea, the wisdom, the insight. He didn't give it to you just for nothing. If he put it in your spirituals, then that means he meant for it to be there. And this is that vision. Come on, God. This is like the vision. This is something that, remember, we talked about. You couldn't do it on your own. Remember in the beginning, I said, if you're believing God to do something that only God can do, you got to know that God is saying that he is going to do it. So maybe again, you just needed the confirmation. Maybe it is like maybe, and I'll be grateful. Like, I'm so grateful that God uses me to provide these confirmations for you, to let you know that you're not crazy. Okay. All of this, like, let me just say everything that's trying to get out. You're not crazy. You're receiving the messages that you're receiving. You're getting the thing. Yes, your spirit names are talking to you. Yes, God is calling you. Yes, he's calling you closer. If you're feeling a hunger, a thirst, remember, come on, Thirsty Thursdays. Yes, you're going to go through, especially as God, especially if you're dealing with something that's very spiritual, or the Lord is calling you to do something that is going to bring you closer to him. You're going to have a thirst for God. You're going to find yourself wanting to read the Bible more. It's almost like an obsession. You're gonna be infatuated. You're gonna go through that stage where you ain't gonna want to talk about nothing but God. You gonna, because you're gonna see God in everything, and you're gonna want to share. Come on, God, whoever this message is for. You're going to want to share the goodness of God with everybody. You're going to want to talk about it. And you'll hear people talk about this. It's like when you hear people say super saved. I don't know if they called it super saved, but like super saved, that sounds like Goku Nim, a super saiyan. Y'all so foolish. It's like, you know how you ever feel like somebody be super saved and all they want to talk about is God? For some of y'all, that's how you're going to be. And you're going, but the thing about it is, God is also going to put you in places where you ain't going to feel, because this, come on, Lord, there are people who don't want to hear about God. There, there are people who aren't going to want to talk about God. I love to talk about God. When I say I love to talk about, I can talk about God and the goodness of God and the glory of God and how good God is and the blessings of God. I can talk about them all day because it makes me happy to talk about God. And I want other people to experience that. And so some of you, you're going through a stage where you just feel so you're thirsty for him. You're thirsty for him. You want to be closer. You want to know more. You're going to want to be in your Bible. Now, let me also say, you're going to go through a stage where you're not going to feel that same thirst. But I tell you that it comes and goes. There are times when it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do, I'm not ready to read the Bible. But then there are other times where it's just like, I got to go read the Bible. I got to go read some more. I got to go, like, I got to get closer. Lord, I hear you calling me, because it's always something that he wants to say. Like maybe I hadn't been listening, or maybe I'm not gonna agree. I'm not gonna agree with that, pretty angel. The Bible, I'm not gonna agree with that. And the reason I won't agree with that is because the more you read the Bible, the easier it becomes. It's not as difficult to understand as you think. And that was me. There are certain parts of the Bible that I feel like were challenging to get through. Leviticus, Numbers, um, some of First Chronicles, some of Second Chronicles. But I kid you not, we started doing Bible Clarity December the 13th. And I kid you not. Now, when I go and read the Bible, stuff that I thought was so foreign to me, I can read it, and literally the Lord just deposits the meaning into me, into my spirituals. I it is the y'all, and at first I thought I was tripping, right? Because you sometimes, like when I first started trying to read the Bible, I'd be like, man, this is too complicated and I ain't got time for this. But now I go read the Bible and it's like seeing beyond the words. Like God will really, like, literally deposit something into my spirituals, and I'll be like, OMG. You can find, if you, now let me just say this, I am not a fan of the KJV. I'm not. Why? Because I don't speak in these and thous and all of that. So you can find a version of the Bible. I literally said it today, because as I'm learning to read, to memorize Psalms 26, the version that I'm looking at on my phone is not the version that I have in my Bible that I use, is not the version that is in Psalms 20, that is in the book of the Power of the Psalms. They speak and I said to myself, I said, Daddy, I might need to go and write a whole I might need to go write the book of Psalms and do it in another translation, because y'all know I use this, but this is in KJV. I'm not a fan of KJV. And even as I've been reading the Bible, my Bible, shout out Nisa Booski Wooski, I love you with my whole heart, right? I use the NLT, the New Living Translation, right? But I also read a lot in the NIV, the New International Version. Sometimes, because for me, I'd be like, man, it be getting on my nervous system because there's so many translations of it. And I told the Lord that, look at the ancestors then, where y'all was going, child. I was like, Dad, I'm about to go rewrite this book and do it in a different version, because it be, for me, I'm trying to understand it But then because we speak English, I don't resonate as much with the KJV, so I got to go look at it in another Bible or another version to give it to make it make sense to me what the Lord is trying to say, as evidenced by in the KJV it says, "I will walk in mine integrity." I will walk in mine integrity. But in here, in the one that I'm learning, it says, I have lived a blameless life. Vindicate me, Lord, for I have lived a blameless life. I have trusted in the Lord and I have not faltered. So it's like you just got to get the version that makes the most sense to you. Okay. You got to get the one that makes the most sense to you. But I will say this, get one. They have a message version. They have so many versions of the Bible that there's one that's going to make sense to you. But I will say that the more you read the Bible and the more you be like, God, what this mean? Because that mean, Daddy, what this mean? I don't know. What does this mean, Lord? And I kid you not, I feel like each one of us will get a different level of understanding, a different translation of the word. I don't feel like the Lord, but it's because y'all do know that the Bible was meant to be discussed. It was meant to be talked about. Like we're supposed to sit together. That's what Bible study, in my opinion, is really supposed to be. It's not supposed to be one person coming and just giving their interpretation of what the Bible says or what it means, because I am a firm believer that God gives each one of us a different interpretation based upon our own level of understanding. And what I get from something based on my experience, I don't feel is what maybe Linda would get, right? So that's why you have to study to show thyself approved, because your level of experience is different from mine. So you may understand something different from me. So I believe that the Bible, and I know what they say, and I know how they read the Torah, and I understand that, but I feel like the Bible is meant to be discussed. I feel like people, but the problem is that's why there's so much division in religion, if you will. And y'all know I'm not religious. I'm not religion at all. But that's why there's so much division, because everybody wants their interpretation of what God said to be right. And the thing is, it is right. But that doesn't, just because that's your truth doesn't mean it's my truth or someone else's truth, because you're understanding from your level of experience, and the Lord has given you that interpretation. That doesn't mean that applies for everyone. My feelings on it, I feel like the Bible is meant to be discussed. I feel like the Lord gives each one of us a different level of understanding and interpretation. And I feel like if we came together on that we would have a lot less division. So just my thoughts on it. My talk conversations with God, like, Daddy, if everybody could just it's like you don't have to agree with everything, but who's to say that who's right? Because ultimately your truth is your truth. So you're right. But that's why you have to accept not trying to change somebody's mind, but be willing to hear someone else's perspective. It's just like any other conversation. I can't convince you that I'm right, and I'm not trying to, but I don't have the same perspective because I've lived a different life. I have different experiences. So we can only, if so it's certain things that certain people have never experienced. So you wouldn't understand how the Lord is speaking to me through something because you don't understand that particular situation. If you ain't never been abandoned, then you may not be as traumatized by the fact that Jesus was literally left, and they was already gone on, child. They had left him, and what did Jesus say? Did you not know that I would be in my Father's house? But do you realize how long Jesus had been missing before they realized he was missing? Oh, okay. But if you ain't never dealt with abandonment wounds, then that may not hit you the same. Now, Jesus was good where he was at, right? But he was gone for some time before they even realized he was gone. Just saying. So that's why we have various types of religions because of interpretation. Yes, I understand it, but I also think yes we do. That's why we have different types, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not speaking against anybody's church. My problem comes in is because they think that their way is the best way. No, nobody's way is the best way. You choose whatever denomination works best for you. I don't know anything about the church, so I'm not speaking against the church. I just want everybody to serve God. That's it. That's it. You do whatever you want to do, whatever your practices are, your beliefs are. That is all good. So long as you're serving God. My only issue is don't try to force your beliefs on other people to say that this is the only way. No, it's not. No, it's not. As evidenced by look at how somebody else took the same thing that you said, and they have a different level of understanding with it. Yes, I'm a believer. That's it. That's me. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I believe in things, and the thing about it is, it's like I'm just a believer. I don't have that. That is a perfect exact. That's it for me. Like I'm not trying to dispute, and people be like, and I'm not gonna dispute my beliefs and the things that I believe because I'm just not. I'm just a believer. That is absolutely. So I think that's where the problem comes in for a lot. Look, there go that man. I told y'all he be showing up. Come on, divine intervention. Um, every time. I swear I can't pull this deck without getting that card. But anyway, I'm back. So just my thoughts on it. But again, I'm who am I? I'm just one person talking to God in the scheme of things. I'm just one person talking to God, and I feel like God speaks to each one of us differently. I just want people to talk to him. Come on, divine alignment. Told y'all Matthew 6:33. As I'm putting the cards up, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Anyway, come on, the chosen one, community, dreams to reality. Receive it. And hydrate your soul and things. Drink your water, say your gratitude. Okay. So I don't know. Just my thoughts on it. But I'll tell anybody, you want some answers in your life. If you're trying to get your life on track, you're gonna find them in there. People don't, and I understand why people be scared, don't want to read the Bible, and because I understand, but I tell you, it'll get your life all the way together. It really will. It will get your life all the way together. And people and I that's the only thing, and that's why I'm grateful that the Lord is allowing me to just talk about the Bible from not a place of religion or none of that, because I ain't know none of that. Man, Lord will get your life all the way in order, and you be like, man, if I would have did this sooner. If I would have did this sooner, man, that was me, man. If I would have just did this sooner, it would have saved me so many steps and so much heartbreak and disappointment. It would have saved me so much if I had just known. But no one on my side, on my mama's side where I grew up, no one, like, they read the Bible, but they didn't take us to church. Like, I didn't grow up in church. Come on, 511. I didn't grow up in church. I didn't look, God will help you create. I didn't grow up in church. They didn't take us to church. None of that. And so had I known, then I feel like it could have saved me some steps. But I also understand that God brought me to it when He needed to as well. So, but people do know what they don't know, so you can't blame. Yeah, people don't know what they don't know. True story. True story. Right. The Bible can be scary. It will make you shape up or ship out. I will say this. I wasn't scared of the Bible. I can understand that. I can understand people being scared of God. Now, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, okay? Because who would I be if I didn't? I can understand why people would be afraid of God, because if you read the Bible, like Shay just said, the Bible will have you fearful of God in a way that I don't think is healthy. My opinion. because they will have you thinking that if you don't do what God wants you to do, that he just gonna drop you dead and ain't no coming back from it. Like if you ain't living your life in fear of God, my understanding of fear of God, first, and I've said this before, the reason that I fear God is because I fear not having God in my life. That is, it's like reverence. I'm not even, because I'm not, I don't even like the word fear because of what it evokes in people, right? When you're fearful, you're afraid, you're scared, and I don't it in it I don't know, just for me, when and talking to God about this, I understood why so many people would be afraid, because it's almost like if you read the Bible, especially the Old Testament, and you start, especially when you going through and it talks about God, and this is something God, me and him discussed this, like God is just around here throwing temper tantrums if you get on his nerves a little bit. Like that's the way that if you read the Bible, you'll be thinking, hey girl, hey, you'll be thinking that the Lord just get mad one day for nothing and just decide, I don't like you today. Poof, you dead. And I'm like, that don't make sense to me because I just don't see God doing that. Right. But I can't say, because people go to glory all the time. But it bothered me the way they presented God in the Bible, and still do, because we're still reading it, right? As this arrogant, self-centered, narcissistic, over, I don't want to say over and like petulant, any of those words I didn't I don't like that representation, because I know that that's not who God is. And I told the Lord that. I say, Daddy, why they make it seem like you killing folks because you had a temper tantrum? Yeah, like what? But so that's what made me start telling God, like, Daddy, how do people? This is why you have to remember that the Bible is written. I don't care what you say. A man wrote the Bible. This is why you have to interpret what the Bible says. Because remember that a man wrote the Bible, so it was written with bias. It was written based upon, and so much has been removed, replaced, taken in, taken out. That's why you have to read the Bible and then allow the Lord to give you the interpretation and the understanding. That when you do that, come on, pure light. That's why it's so important to read for yourself, because then God will show, God to be like, that ain't me. And that's what God told me. He was like, that ain't me. I wasn't just killing people just because I didn't like them on a Tuesday. Like that's just not who God is, right? And so, because I was like, Daddy, I was like, this don't make sense to me. But it's like, and I also know that it's one of the things that makes people have religious trauma. Mm. It's what makes people have religious trauma. Time to level up, because you will literally grow up in fear of doing anything wrong. But remember, we have this talk all the time as well, where it be like, how do you know the difference between disobedience and obedience to God? This is how these conversations with me and God happen. How do I know when because you ever said, you hear people say you just need to go ask God for forgiveness, and you be like, well, that I don't even know what I'm asking forgiveness for. What did I do? Especially since religion was built for control. Reading the listen, right? You don't even be knowing what you beat and did. This was me for a minute. Daddy, I don't even know what I'm asking. I don't even know what I do, Daddy. And see, this is where the Lord had to, and this ain't been that long ago. And that's why the Lord took me through, and I'm so grateful for it. He took me through a stage where I realized, and that's why he said, you're not, how do I even explain this? Several months ago, I realized that I was living out an experience for people who have religious trauma. And it all came together because then someone, I think Jay Causey pointed it out. And it's me, but the Lord had to take me through it to make me understand why people have trauma with the Bible. Because I found myself praying and 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 asking forgiveness to the point where I don't even know what I was asking forgiveness for. And I began to feel like the Lord was punishing me. I began to feel like the Lord was punishing me. And that's why I felt like things were not happening for me. Like I wasn't receiving the prayer, like my prayers weren't being answered. And I felt like, yeah, okay, yeah. And I felt like I was like, Lord, I'm praying and asking for forgiveness. Come on, 111. And I don't even know what I did, Lord. Like, Daddy, what did I do? And I'm praying and repenting, and I don't even know what I'm repenting for. And then I stop one day and I say, Lord, listen, I'm asking for forgiveness, and I don't even know what I did wrong. Me, like, Daddy, I don't even know what I did wrong, Lord. Like, how do you correct something if and then they be like, oh, go to the Lord and he'll tell you what you did wrong. And you looking, and this me who don't do nothing but sit in the car and talk about God and just, you know, and I was like, Dad, I don't even know what I did. What am I doing wrong? What? And I can remember just crying and crying and just begging the Lord and being like, Daddy, I don't even know what I did. I'm so sorry. Just please forgive me. What did I do so I don't do it again? And that's when the Lord was just like, I'm not on that. He was like, I'm not on that. That's people that will have you so fearful that you don't even know what you did, but you just asking for forgiveness. So now you just living in a shell of yourself because you so afraid to do anything because you don't know if God gonna get mad, but you don't even know what God getting mad at, and you just find yourself in that loop. And I say, God, I can't live like that. I said, I can't live like this. Nuh-uh. I say, because if I don't know what I did, then how can I correct it? And that's when God and I had to talk about obedience. And because I said, God, I went and took this job, and although, because this is when this happened, I say, I went and took this job, and although I knew I wasn't going to be there long, that job was beneficial for me for the month that I stayed there. But I had began to think that God was punishing me because I took the job. But God was like, how was it a punishment if I gave myself a way to get myself out of debt? Yeah, apologizing and you don't know why. Can't be true to yourself because you think you're going to hell. And that's when the Lord and I, so this was just a few months ago, y'all, 6 months, what, June, May, whenever that was. And the Lord said, disobedience for me, you take it to the Lord and talk to him about it, okay? For me, disobedience is when I'm not doing what makes me happy. That job was beneficial that I worked for that month, but I was not happy. I was absolutely miserable. My energy changed. I was depressed. I'm this is me. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me, Lord. I'm so sorry I did it, Lord. And then now I'm blocking blessings because I think that I did something wrong and I didn't. The Lord said, "No, I just told you to go be happy." So for me, I know that I'm being obedient to the Lord if I'm doing what God has asked me to do insofar as making myself and being happy. I hope that makes sense for somebody. And living my life that way has changed things because when I'm not happy, God's not happy. He don't get he wants us to be happy. He wants us to be joyful, peaceful. He wants those things for us. So when you're not that way, then you're not in alignment with God's will and purpose for your life. And when if you can start looking at things that way, it will help you begin to do things that make you happy. Because when you're happy, guess what? God can bless you with more things to make you happy. I hope that made sense to somebody. So he gave me a different way, a different to understand obedience versus disobedience. God ain't mad if you take a detour. He already knows that you was gonna take the detour. I was not happy because I was trying, it's like me and talking to spirit and them, right? This is who I am. This is who I am. I am going to talk to spirit and them. I am going to talk to my angels and ancestors and spirit guides and ascended masters, and I'm going to burn my ancestor money, and I'm going to burn my sage, and I'm going to burn my incense. I'm going to do all of that, and I'm still going to read the Bible, and I'm still going to talk to God. And I realized that I was putting, that was that religious, because I was trying to fit in, like J. Cause just said, right? I was trying to make people accept that I was walking with the Lord. So I was holding off a part of myself, my gift. And God say, but you weren't happy. And I wasn't. I wasn't. I'm coming on the lives and I wasn't talking to spirit and them like I normally did. Remember, I told y'all, I was like, man, these messages feel so heavy now. And I was just depressed. And I was like, Daddy, I'm not having fun doing what I love to do. And the Lord said, that's because you're not doing it the way that you love to do it. Like, and I say, you're right. And from that day to this one, I'm going to talk to spirit and them because I'm not trying to make anybody accept who I am because I fully embrace that God accepts me as I am. How do I get voice from spirit and them? I feel them all around me, a warm feeling of comfort. You just continue if you already know that they're there, you just continue to develop that relationship. Yeah. Like true story, y'all. And can I just also say this? At the end of the day, you do realize that don't nobody really care what you do. Do you understand that everybody out here is just living their own life? That's why it's so important to just walk in your truth. God said that to me. He was just like, don't nobody really care what you're doing for real. Because they got their own life to live. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. They don't care what you do. And if you can embrace that, your whole life will change. Come on, 22, your whole life will change. Cause you'll be like, man, these folks don't care what I'm doing for real, for real. They may act like they care, but when they shut their door, don't nobody care that I'm sitting up here talking to spirit and them. Even if they feel some type of way, baby, when they go home, they not thinking about me. They're not thinking about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. You may not like it, but you don't have to because it's not affecting your life in any type of way. No type of way. If you don't, the people who it's meant for will accept me as I am, the same way that I accept everybody as they are. Right? Don't nobody care. Some people just want something to say like you don't have your own life, and when they go home and that when they finish perpetrating, like they so concerned because this the thing, if you ain't it's not like you, especially if you ain't telling some people nothing bad. Like if people could be, I'm using myself as an example, but this is in your own life. How does it affect your life? How does it affect your relationship with God? How does it affect how you deal with God? How does it affect your life? How is what I'm doing affect your life? I'm not telling people, oh, you need to do this because touche. I said go talk to God about it because I'm not here to tell you about, I do what I want to do and tell everybody else to do what they want to do because it's not my business to tell people what to do. I just want y'all to go talk to God. Can you just know about it? I don't care how. Hey, if you on the light side of the street, you good with me. I don't care what no, I don't care how you teach people how to talk. I don't care about none of that. If there are people who want, I don't care about none of that. You understand? I love everybody. But that's when that authenticity come in, y'all. You be like, baby, which would I eat don't make you cuss a word. If you don't like what I'm doing, okay, you not doing it. So why you worried? If you not, don't tell me my soul is my responsibility and my business. Me going to heaven to hell is my responsibility and my business. I appreciate the concern. But listen, look, sweep around your own front porch. You better say it before you try to sweep around mine. Like, you don't have the authority to put, come on, you don't have the authority to put me in heaven or hell. And so, as long as God is good with me, I don't care. And I had to say that the Lord said, and that's what I need you to know. Since He's the only one that has the authority to put me here nor there, it's why I can deal with family members who don't like what I'm doing. It ain't your business. It's why I can deal with people who got something to say. It ain't your business. You cannot put me anywhere. As long as God ain't mad with what I'm doing, as long as people, even if you don't like my methods, if you get the message, then you all right with me. You all right with me. Because ultimately, I'm going to just tell you, go pray, go read the Bible, go journal, go take a walk, go meditate, go talk to God, go do something. Learn how to trust yourself, learn how to trust God. The rest of it, baby, I'm going to let somebody else preach that because that's not for me. Like, true story. And, and that's why you'll find, come on, Genesis 12, 1-3. That's why you'll find at 7-11 up under that, people can only say so much because they can't say that what you're doing is negatively impacting or affecting anyone. Oh, you teaching. Tell me, so you saying God is poison? Because it's not like I wrote something and then I said, hey, y'all, this is your doctrine. No, I said, let's pick up this Bible and read the Bible. I didn't write the Bible. Oh, you telling people what? What's in the Bible? So you don't believe in the Bible then? Oh, I believe, but so make it make sense, way. You can't have it both ways. If I'm telling the same stories that you telling in the Bible, if I'm talking about the same Jesus that you talking about, how are we not in alignment? You may not like the way that God has taught me about God, because God didn't teach me the way He taught other people. I didn't come to God the same way other people did, but guess what? He still came and got me. That's your argument. You mad? So you telling me that if I tell somebody Jeremiah 29:11 or Matthew 6:33, you mad because I'm telling people a reference from the Bible? Make it make sense. You mad because I'm quoting scripture? That what's the argument? Well, the devil knew scripture too. Well, I imagine he did. He started out in heaven, didn't it? What? What? I imagine he did. He knew, yeah, he sure did. He knew God until God kicked him out. I can't tell nobody what to do. Look, it's not about the method, it's about the message. That's why that kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but I had to get out of that because I found myself in that, trying to make quote unquote Christians, if you will, accept me. Listen, I believe that God died, He was raised again on the third day. Okay, like that's it. I don't I believe in the magic that's in the Bible. I believe that Jesus was laying hands on folks. I believe that He was casting out demons. And that's why I don't understand how, if people can believe in the Bible, that you cannot believe that the same type of stuff is still happening right now. How can you believe in a book that talks about stuff that only God can do, but you can't believe that God? Where do people think God went? Like, what do you think that? Do you realize how old the Bible is? We don't have a new Bible. We all still reading the same Bible from 5,100 years ago. Do you think that God went somewhere? Like, why? That's why I don't understand why it's so hard for people to think that God is not still doing these signs and wonders. And like, y'all, that's why I think that God didn't put me in the church, because I just truly feel like I would be like, that's stupid. Like, y'all, like, I don't know. That's just I know I look, I'm just being honest. Cause baby, listen, that's why we got so many versions. Cause they keep all they keep doing is rewriting it and giving it another name. The N, like we just talked about, the NIV, the NLT, the KJV. All we do is keep rewriting and changing the words up, and then all of a sudden, boom! Now we got a different version of the Bible, and that version don't even mean the same thing as the previous version. Listen, I that's just me. But the Lord know my heart. So that's why I just be like that, and I ain't mad. That's why I'm not affiliated with any church or nothing, because I'm just like, because I don't, I just be honest, y'all. Like, I even see it on the internet, and I be like, man, so many people. That's why so many people just be out here lost. That's why people start turning to stuff like tarot cards, because you're being called. But if you try, I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. I've been through that spell where God is calling you, but you don't know how to connect, and people are too religious over here, and they start telling you. That's why people be afraid of their gifts. Like people, but this the thing. You can call somebody, like, that the prophets in the Bible were hearing from God, and they coming and telling people. They talk about seers, they talk about mediums, they talk about all these people in the Bible, but you think that those people don't still exist today. Why did people say that those things were bad? Because those mediums and psychics and seers and oracles, because they're hearing from God. They wanted, Lord, I'm finna say it because it was about control, like we already talked about. They didn't want other people to be able to receive God. They wanted to be the intercessor. They wanted people to believe that the only way that you could receive any kind of communion or connection or information was through the church. Now, I said what I said. Why do you think that people who can connect with God those were the worst people in the Bible? Diviners, psychics, mediums, who could connect in the spirit. Of course, they said it was bad because they wanted everybody to use the church and the people in the church as the only way to communicate with God. And it's not the only way. So now the Lord is like, I put people in, and why? We can see why. It ain't no different now than it's ever been. People get power hungry, and they think that because they have this connection, they start looking down on people. They ain't doing the right things with the gifts that God has given them. So now the Lord said, well, I'm going to raise up some folks who going to do the right things with the gifts that I'm blessing them with. Guess who mad? The church. Guess who's mad? The religious people. Why? Because they understand that there's a shift in power. The Lord is removing the power from the people whose hands He placed it in, because it was an abuse of power. Look, it was an abuse of power. So now He's like, y'all didn't do right with what I gave you. So now I'm gonna raise up some people who truly using their gifts in it. And I ain't saying every church. And I'm not saying I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, because it's just the truth of it. This is why the Lord said earlier, you don't have to have an intercessor. Jesus is the intercessor. Go talk to Jesus. Go find out who Jesus was. And the only way to know the Father is to know the Son. Because you have to understand love first. You have to understand message, who Jesus was first, in order to truly. That's why a lot of people, this is what I know to be true. This is why a lot of people don't focus on the Old Testament. They focus on the New Testament. And some people be like, oh, I'm not that. That's why they call it New Age, because most people ain't focusing on the Old Testament, because it shows a version of God that Jesus was not. Jesus was all love, light, and healing energy. But if you read the Old Testament, that is not what was demonstrated. And you see how much smaller the New Testament is compared to the Old Testament. And so if you read the Old Testament, you will be conflicted about who God truly is, which is why I'll tell anybody, read the New Testament first, because you need to understand who God truly is. And I truly feel like that's why the New Testament had to be added. Because if you went by the Old Testament, you would think that God is nothing but a God of anger, hatred, chaos. To me, a lot of times the Old Testament displays God's parts of God that I'm not even familiar with. What happened to the loving, caring, compassionate God? You don't see as much of that in the Old Testament. But yet, when you go to church, they want to use the Old Testament and try to make you know that part of God. They focus on the suffering and the pain and that part, and that's not what God wants us to do. God needs us to know the loving side of him, the love that he has for us. That's what Jesus came to do. God tried every way he knew how to do, and they portrayed him as somebody that wanted to kill. They portrayed God as the devil, and I don't like it. And I said what I said. They portrayed God more as the devil than they portrayed the devil as the devil. What? And I said what I said. Meant it. All anger and hatred and rage, and I'ma kill you because it's Wednesday. What? Man, come on. That's how you know them. Whoever was right, they didn't know God for real. All they talked about was the negative aspects of God. That's why I be like, hold on, Lord. Wait a minute. Time out. Message. Time out. That's why it's like people be so conflicted because the part that they emphasize is not the love of God. It's not that part. And that's who God truly is. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. What? Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my soapbox. Because I don't like it. And that's why I know like that. That's why I feel like the Lord took me down a different path with understanding him. He didn't take me through the path of being in anybody's church. And I'm not knocking a single church. I'm always going to say that but I understand that there are some people who have some outdated beliefs of who God is. Can we focus? The problem is that if we stop focusing on the negative aspects of God, which I don't believe that, even though I just believe that is, if we can focus on the love and the light, then a lot of people will come out of the darkness. A lot of people will come out of the darkness. It's why the Lord is waking up new people. It's why he is bringing in new people to help other people come into the light. It's why he is using new methods. It's why he's doing things that are unique. And that's why he's telling you, it's because look at the agendas that are being pushed. It's all a negative narrative. And that's not what Eden was. The Bible starts out in the Garden of Eden, but when they became knowledgeable, this with the serpent, right? They became knowledgeable. Look at how the world has developed since then. Anyway, just my opinion on it. So we're going to keep on being the light. We're going to keep sharing the light. And you're going to share the light in whatever way the Lord has given you to share it. And that's what we're going to keep doing. Come on, 44. And that's just it. That's why you can't, man, these folks, let them think what they think and let them keep other people over there in the dark. But as for me, I'm going to walk in the light. Ain't it in John? Like they just said John 1. And the darkness has yet to overcome it. In the beginning in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. He was with God at the beginning. Through him were all things made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. Say what I said. That's it, y'all. So keep being a light. However, come on, Ada, I'm done. I'm finna go. That's it. Keep being a light. However the Lord is using you to shine your light, keep being the light. That's it. And 333 up under that. Let me put these cards down because I'm not going to play with the Lord today. He be knowing. He be knowing. We receive it. That's it. That's all I got, y'all. That was my little soapbox. Child, because I get in my spirituals. People be playing with God. Don't play with him. I don't play about him now. I don't play about him. Not the radio. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got, y'all. Lord, I hope this helps somebody. I know y'all know. Look, I started talking about the Lord, and I get beside myself, don't it? Because I don't play with him. Don't play in his face. Look, I couldn't even get it out good. Don't play in his face. Don't do that. Don't play in his face now. Don't do that. That's that on fire for God, like for real. Like I'm like, man, don't play with him. I play about a lot of things. I said this yesterday, and I guess it's only two things ever that I don't play about. First and foremost, I don't play about God, like on no level. Ain't no play in my spirituals about God. Like, don't do that. And my children. So I should have put him first. You right. Y'all sure right. I meant that. I don't play about him. I don't play by my walk. I don't play by my faith. I don't play by God. Don't play in his face now. So you better put some respect on his name. What? The Lord done did too much for me. I don't even think you want to play in his face, because I'm gonna tell you about yourself. I get a little check, and he gonna, because he be knowing, don't it? Tell y'all. Anyway, that's it, y'all. That's it. That's all I got. I love. Can I just tell? This is what I mean, man. Like, y'all, I love what the Lord has called me to do. This when I say walk, you just could have never told me that this is what I was going to be doing in my life. You could have never, some people be like, they know what they want to do from the time they was little bitty. All I ever wanted to be was a nurse, and then I was a nurse, and then I wasn't a nurse anymore. You could have never told me that this is what I was going to be doing for my life. You just could come on, committed. You could have just never told me that this is what I was going to be doing for, like, as my life, as my call. Like, you just could have never told me that I would be doing this as for a living and just love it. You just never could have. I never saw this in my life. I just never did. And I'm so grateful that the Lord has called me into just doing what I do in the way that I do it, serving him and keeping it moving. Like, it is a blessing, y'all. That's that purpose, right? Just to show up and be like, hey, this me, this who I am. I just want you to know more about God. This is the best job I have ever had in my life, with God as my supervisor. He the general, the GM, the regional manager, the heavenly manager, like all of that. Man, it's a blessing, y'all. I can't even. When you find your purpose, when you find your purpose, like, you just be like, man, I love it here. I love it here. Okay. I love it here. Okay. Standing on business in purpose on purpose. Period. Meant it. Okay. Come on, game over. And you just gotta but understand, look how many, it took me some years to finally just know what my purpose is. People be wanting to know what their purpose is, man. You got to live your life out. That's how you find your purpose. You just got to keep walking in it. I never knew I was going, it was never a thought to me in my life to have businesses, to be an entrepreneur. All I knew was work, y'all. And so now that I see who I am now compared to who I was, why? Because I said, Lord, my life is not even mine anymore. I'm going to let you have it. In doing that, you literally, like, your life, people be looking at it as a burden, but you give your life to the Lord, and he gives you back a life that's so much better. And that's the part that people miss. I wish people just understand, like, man, when you trade your old life for your new one, message, you be like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I do this sooner? I don't know what people feel like being saved is. I don't know. But you give your old, be like, daddy, this life don't work for me no more. I want a new one. And God be like, okay, let me give you a better one. And you be like, okay. And you be like, why didn't I do this sooner? Look, I'm talking about what, like, y'all, I just don't even understand how people wouldn't want to give their life to God. Like, I just, I just don't understand how people, this is such a side note, but I want to mention it. Uh, I don't, maybe I should save it. I'm gonna save it. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe because it takes longer to get the things, like maybe because you actually have to, like, you have to build and you have to grow and you have to expand, and I don't know. The reason I say that is because I was listening to a song yesterday, and I'm not going to say this artist's name, but it's just y'all, the music. Now y'all know I be thugged out. I be trapped out. Don't get it twisted. Me and my baby, our get crunk music, we be thugged out. We be trapping, okay? On the way to the gym, we be trapped out. But I actually started listening. There's this one particular artist, and I knew something because I heard something that she said. And you know how you hear something, and but all of a sudden I heard it different. And so the first time I heard this one particular part of her song, I was like, man, she sounds like she crying out for help. Let it go. But yesterday, I went, or Tuesday when I was at my baby house, I she had this another a whole different song played, and you start really hearing how these people be putting the enemy in their songs, y'all. And it was crazy because when I clicked on TikTok shortly after that, I saw there was a video on there, and it was so random, and he was just like, well, what music can I listen to? Because when I heard what she said, I was like, she really did sell her soul. So, and I had never really paid attention to it before. Like, you know how you hear a song, and there's a lot of songs like I hear them, but man, it's like one, I guess that's a gift. Thank y'all. That's kind of how it feels. Maybe that's like a gift. Starting to hear. Remember, come on, God. Remember, I've been talking about hearing what's not being said. I think that the Lord, for me, this is me speaking on me. I think the Lord is allowing me to really hear beyond hearing. I already hear in the spirit, if that makes sense, right? But this is different. And I don't even know if it makes sense, y'all. But it's like stuff that I had never heard before. I'm hearing now, and I'll be like, message? Like, no, no, I saw something the other day, and then it's something, it's like you just starting to see stuff, y'all. You just start to see so much different. And it makes me understand even more why it's so important for us to put positive examples out there. Like, y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's it's crazy. Like stuff that let me, how do I'm gonna say it? I'm not gonna say the artist. You will never. I'm gonna say this. You will never see Touche dressed up as a devil. I wouldn't even play like that. And I don't care what people say. I don't care. When you would. It's just just no. It's like, and I'm using myself as an example. You would never even see me dressed up like the devil. I've never done it in my life because now, especially now, you start to understand, like, y'all, this stuff has real meaning, dog. Like, and then you start to just see other things, like the Lord is just showing me other things, and I'm just like, wow, y'all, like we got to save our youth. That's how I'll say that. We got to save our youth. Um, I'm gonna say this because I meant it, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I did not watch. Y'all know I don't have cable, of course, so I didn't watch like the BET Awards, right? But I saw little snippets of it. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and maybe I've said it before. I don't care if I'm glad and I'm grateful that our ladies are proud of their bodies, but y'all ain't tired. Like y'all ain't do you do y'all ain't tired of that being all we see are black women who are influential? Like y'all ain't tired? I meant it. And I'm going to say what I'm going to say because one thing the Lord is allowing me to do on my platforms is be truthful and be honest. I looked at, and this is no, I'm so happy for their success, and I mean no disrespect, but I think, don't we want some positive? Like, is that all as a culture, black ladies, black women? I'm talking to us, right? Is that all people can see when they look at us? But the reason that they see that is because that's all we are giving and putting ourselves out there as. I told, and this is how me and the Lord had this conversation, because y'all know I'm on a weight loss journey, right? And I made two videos. I told y'all, I say, babe, I put this waist trainer on and get the strut and go to the gym. You can't tell me nothing. So I made a couple videos and I was like showing, because I had lost a couple pounds, right? I think it was like 1 pound at that time. Don't be no hater. So I was like, oh, booty sitting, look, sit, you can sit an apple on it, right? This me laughing and joking with myself. But me and God started talking about it, and I was just like, yeah, I don't very often post pictures of myself. Number one, for why? Come on, legend. Number one, for why? Number two, I'm only doing it because, well, first of all, if I want to, but I'm not naked either. Like, I got a big booty, not Devil Mountain. See what I'm talking about, y'all? Y'all think it's a game. Y'all better start paying attention. I'm trying to tell y'all, this, y'all, I can't make this up. Literally, a truck just passed by that said Devil Mountain. You think this stuff, why would you even, you think that it's, my God, I just can't even get it out. Pay attention. Pay attention. So I said to the Lord, I say, Daddy, is that all they think of us? Is that the value that they're placing? Like, the more you show of yourself, I love y'all, I love y'all, and I'm so grateful and happy for your confidence. But I just want us to do better, because these are the people, these are the songs, these are the things that are influencing our younger generation. It's why so many young ladies have problems with their bodies and feel like they have to have these alterations to look like who they see, to look like what they're being shown. You don't have to do that. It's like, how hard it is to convince somebody that what is it? What y'all just said? Fearfully and wonderful. Fear is what y'all said. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Is that what does that sound right? I don't know. That God made you beautiful just how you are, and it's like you can't tell people that they're not beautiful just the way they are. People don't have confidence because they don't look like what they're seeing, or you don't have confidence because you don't, it's like you want people to see all your credentials. I love y'all, but I just want us to do better. I just want us to do better as a people. As a people. Beautifully and wonderfully made. Thank you, dearest one. I was like, I don't know. I hadn't heard it before. Anyway, so I start, and all of that to say, because I heard the music and I was like, this is what we're being exposed to. And don't get me wrong, like, I listen to it, but I'm also starting to hear so much more behind it, that people be like, it's a look, I'm telling you, you people be thinking it's like a conspiracy theory, but it's really not, y'all. That's why you got to go be the light with whatever the Lord has tasked you to do. Like, you got to, first of all, we got to not be afraid to talk about this kind of stuff as well. And I'm not going to perpetuate the negativity, but I'm going to address it and say, like, man, y'all, I don't want our youth to be lost, but it's also why this battle is a little more challenging and why the Lord is bringing more people that are light workers online, because we got to fight. Like, we got to fight this, y'all. We have to fight this. Um we got to fight it. But anyway, I wasn't gonna talk about that, but since I said it, I said what I said, right? Come on, God, because yeah, look, do you trust me and whose I am back up under that? Like, yeah. Anyway, whatever ears to hear. Yeah, come on, your value just went up. So, and yes, we are growing. We are growing. So if the Lord is giving you an assignment as you as a, because you wouldn't be over here if you ain't walking in the light. You wouldn't be over here if you're not a light worker, because you're not just gonna sit up. The enemy don't want to hear about God. And so you're not just gonna be sitting up. And if you are, you because you'll be too irritated. You'll been left. Because all we talking about is the Lord. So anyway, that's it for that. Mm-mm. Just be mindful of that, right? And I think it's also like, if you like what you like, you listen to what you listen to. Who am I? Because I be trapped out and thugged out. I do recognize that it doesn't affect me the same way, and I'm so grateful for that. But um, walk in your light. Walk in your light. That's what I say. Walk in your light. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for real this time. I don't know. I just like I'm just grateful for what the Lord is allowing me to do. I'm just grateful how He's using me and how He's using you in your own respective ways in your family, to be a light to whoever He is asking you or wanting you to shine upon. So that's it, y'all. Hydrate your soul and things. Drink your water. Say your gratitude. Have a fantastic and an amazing day in purpose and on purpose. Thank y'all so much for all the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscribes, the love, the energy. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you so much. I'm so truly grateful for y'all. Um, that's all I got. Make sure you drop by my website, get on the email list. I know I hadn't said it. I don't be saying it. I should say it. Make sure that you pick up your 336 Tarot and Oracle Tarot Journal, iPop Journal, iPop Planner, Oracle cards. Get your journal stickers. Um, yeah, grab something on my website, and I appreciate y'all support. I don't often promote my website. I probably should, but it's all good. Bars. Um, that's it. Go be great and amazing. Do great and amazing things. Okay, that's all I got. That's all I got. I love my job. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all in real life. I will see y'all on the morrow. Go be great and amazing and do great and amazing things. Let me go, child. It's nature walk day. They got a flat tire, child, on the what's it called? How the man gonna lift them up, child? He got to put 4 new tires on. I hope that didn't bend their rim. Let me get out these folks' business, shouldn't it? Should, because why am I in their business? He had pulled up, what that say? Not this say vision on the side of it. Vision Pace Arrow. He's selling it. I want me a little, what's it called? I don't want that one, but I want me a what's this called? A RV. How he gonna lift it up? I need to get out them folks' business, dude.